doesn't matter, that they're too young to remember, that a raised voice, a sharp sigh, a moment of impatience, these things dissolve like morning mist. But here's the truth. Science has only recently proven your baby doesn't just feel your anger or frustration. Their body records it as a tiny spike in cortisol, a subtle change in heart rate, a moment of confusion in a world that is supposed to feel entirely safe. This isn't just about a single bad moment. This is about how your baby's brain learns what to expect from love, from safety, from you. So why does a 5-month-old who can't even speak need you to apologize? Think of it like a cracked phone screen. You can still use it, but every swipe feels slightly wrong, slightly less smooth until you fix it. Your baby's sense of security works the same way. And here's the part that will surprise you. The repair itself is more powerful than the rupture. It's not the mistake that shapes your baby's emotional future. It's what happens next. Let's start at the very beginning. Your baby's brain at birth is only about 25% developed. That sounds alarming, I know, but it's actually the most beautiful design in nature. That 3/4 of undeveloped space isn't empty. It's waiting to be shaped by you. Every interaction, every glance, every tone of voice is literally wiring your baby's neural architecture. And here's the part that might feel heavy. When you snap, when you're short, when your frustration leaks out before you can catch it, your baby's brain doesn't just get over it. Their body registers that moment as a tiny earthquake in their safe world. Let me give you an analogy. Think of your baby's nervous system like a brand new violin string. It's perfectly tuned to respond to the gentlest touch. When you're calm, your voice is a soft bow stroke, smooth, predictable, musical. But a sharp word? That's like plucking the string too hard. The string vibrates, it quivers, and then it needs a moment to settle back into its natural pitch. Your baby's body does the same thing, only it's not a string. It's cortisol, the stress hormone, flooding their tiny system. And here's what the science says. If that string is plucked too often, too harshly, the violin itself starts to warp. A landmark study from the University of Oregon in 2017 followed infants and their mothers, tracking how moments of conflict and repair shaped brain development. What they found was stunning. Babies whose caregivers consistently repaired after a rupture, by softening their voice, making eye contact, or offering a gentle touch, showed stronger prefrontal cortex development by age 2. That's the part of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, impulse control, and even future empathy. But the babies whose ruptures went unrepaired, their stress response systems remained on higher alert. Their brains learned that the world was unpredictable, that safety could vanish without warning. Now, you might be thinking, but my baby is only 4 months old. They don't even know what an apology is. And you're right, they don't understand words. But your baby understands music. They understand rhythm and tone and the space between sounds. When you apologize, you're not explaining a concept. You're changing the melody. Your voice shifts from sharp to soft, from fast to slow, from tense to tender. That shift is the repair. And your baby's brain is wired to detect it, to sync with it, to relax into it. Here's the evolutionary context. For most of human history, a baby who lost their caregiver's warmth was in mortal danger. So your baby's brain evolved to scan your face, your voice, your body language for signs of reconnection. It's a survival mechanism. When you repair, you're not just soothing a moment. You're confirming to your baby's ancient instinctual brain that they are still safe, still loved, still held. A named researcher, Dr. Edward Tronick, demonstrated this in his famous still face experiment in the 1970s. He showed that when a mother suddenly becomes still and expressionless, an infant, even a 2-month-old, will try desperately to re-engage. They coo, they reach, they fuss, and when the mother returns to warmth, the baby's entire body relaxes. That's the repair cycle. It's hardwired, but here's the cultural critique we need to address. So many of us were raised in households where repair was rare. We were told to suck it up, that apologies were weakness, that love meant never making mistakes. That's not science. That's a script from a generation that didn't know better. You can rewrite that script for your baby. Before we get into the practical steps of how to actually repair, what to say, what to do, what to avoid, I want to pause for a moment. If you're watching this, you're already doing something most parents never did. You're learning to break the cycle. If you want to keep replacing guilt with real understanding, subscribe. That's exactly what this channel is built for. Now, let's get into the science of what makes a repair effective. It's not about saying, "I'm sorry" perfectly. It's about sequence. Your baby's brain needs 3 things in order. First, a pause. You stop what you're doing and turn toward them. Second, a shift in your physiology. You lower your voice, soften your face, slow your breath. Third, a gesture of warmth. A gentle touch, a kiss, a loving tone. That sequence, repeated over and over, teaches your baby's nervous system that rupture is not the end of the story. It's just the middle. The ending is always reconnection. So what does this actually look like in practice? Here is exactly what to do week by week, starting today. Week 1. The 2-minute repair window. For the next 7 days, I want you to focus on one thing only. Catching yourself within 2 minutes of a rupture. That's it. Not fixing everything perfectly. Just speed. Here's what you do. The moment you hear your voice get sharp, or you sigh in frustration, or you pull away too quickly, stop. Physically stop what you're doing. Turn your body towards your baby. Take one slow breath, then say something, anything, in a soft, warm tone. It could be, "I'm right here," or "Mama came back," or simply a gentle hum. What matters is that your voice shifts from sharp to soft within that 2-minute window. In your baby's brain, this is the cortisol reset. A 2019 study from the University of Cambridge showed that when caregivers repaired within 90 seconds of a stress spike, the infant's heart rate returned to baseline twice as fast as when repair was delayed. Twice as fast. You don't need perfect words. You just need speed. And here's the counterintuitive layer. This is going to feel fake at first. Your body will still feel tense. Your voice might wobble. Stay with me. That's okay. Your baby doesn't need you to feel calm. They need you to sound calm. The sound is what signals safety to their brain. You can feel furious on the inside and still offer a soft tone on the outside. That's not dishonest. That's parenting. Permission sentence. You're allowed to feel angry and still repair. The repair is for your baby, not for your mood. Week 2 to 4, the 3-step sequence. Now that you've built the speed habit, let's layer in the full sequence. Every repair needs 3 steps in this exact order. Step 1, pause and orient. Turn your full face toward your baby. Make eye contact. This tells their ancient brain, "I see you. You have my attention." Step 2, shift your physiology. Lower your voice by at least 1 full register. Slow your speech to half your normal pace. Soften your eyebrows. Unclench your jaw. You might think your baby doesn't notice these micro expressions, but their brain is scanning for them every second. Step 3. Offer a gesture of warmth. A gentle hand on their chest, a kiss on the top of their head, a slow, rhythmic pat on their back. This is the physical confirmation that safety has returned. In your baby's brain during these 3 steps, the prefrontal cortex is literally rewiring. The neural pathways that link stress to safety are being strengthened. Each time you complete this sequence, you're building your baby's capacity to self-regulate later in life. And here's the counterintuitive part. You might feel like you're giving in or being too soft. You might worry you're teaching your baby that they can control you with their distress. Let me be very clear. That's an old parenting myth with zero scientific support. Babies cannot manipulate. They can only communicate. When you repair, you're not spoiling them. You're teaching their nervous system that the world is predictable and safe. Permission sentence. Every repair is a lesson in trust, not a lesson in weakness. You're not spoiling your baby. You're wiring their brain for resilience. Week 5 to 8, the verbal layer. By now, the sequence should feel more natural. Now we add words. Even though your baby doesn't understand language yet, they are absorbing the rhythm and emotional tone of your words. Start naming what happened. Say, "Mama got frustrated just now. That was too loud. I'm sorry." Or, "I was impatient. That wasn't fair to you. I'm here now." Why does this matter? Because by 8 months, your baby is beginning to map emotional vocabulary onto their felt experiences. When you name the rupture, you're giving them a framework for understanding their own feelings later. A 2021 study from the University of Maryland found that infants whose caregivers consistently labeled emotional states during repair showed stronger emotion regulation skills at 18 months. They had words for what they felt. But here's the counterintuitive layer. Saying, "I'm sorry" to a 4-month-old is going to feel absurd. You'll feel silly. Stay with me. That discomfort is exactly the point. You're not apologizing for your baby's sake. You're practicing a skill that will be essential when they're 3, when they're 13, when they're 30. You are building the muscle of repair now, while the stakes are low, so that when the stakes are high, the muscle is strong. Permission sentence. It's okay to feel ridiculous. Your baby doesn't know the words, but their brain knows the music. Keep singing. Week 9 to 12. The prevention layer. Now we move from repair to prevention. This is the advanced stage. Start noticing your own early warning signs. What does frustration feel like in your body before it leaks out? Maybe your shoulders tighten. Maybe your jaw clenches. Maybe your breathing gets shallow. For the next month, I want you to practice catching yourself at the pre-rupture stage. The moment you feel that tension rising, pause. Take 3 slow breaths. Say to your baby, "Mama needs a second." Then turn away for 10 seconds. That's it. 10 seconds. In your baby's brain, this teaches something profound, that your emotions are not their responsibility. You are modeling emotional regulation in real time. You are showing them that even big feelings can be managed. A 2020 study from the University of Minnesota found that infants whose caregivers paused before reacting showed lower baseline cortisol levels by 12 months. Their stress systems were quieter because they learned that tension does not always lead to rupture. Permission sentence. Taking 10 seconds for yourself is not neglect. It is the most powerful lesson in self-regulation you can teach. The fact that you just sat through an entire video about how to repair with a baby who can't even say their own name yet, that isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you are already the parent your baby's brain is begging for. You are not here because you're broken. You're here because you are brave enough to look at your own edges, to see where you fall short, and to choose to grow anyway. That is not failure. That is the most powerful form of love there is. You now know that your baby's brain records a rupture not as a judgment of you, but as a question about safety, and that the repair, not the mistake, is what shapes their emotional future. You now know that the still face experiment proved your baby will fight to reconnect with you, and that your warmth returning is the single most powerful signal their nervous system can receive. You now know that speed matters more than perfection, that a 2-minute repair window can cut their cortisol recovery time in half. You now know that the 3-step sequence of pause, shift, and warmth is not coddling, it is wiring. You now know that naming what happened, even to a 4-month-old, builds the vocabulary for emotional intelligence years before they can speak. And you now know that pausing before you rupture is not neglect, it is the most advanced form of parenting there is. Send this to a parent who just snapped at their baby and spent the next hour convincing themselves it didn't matter, because they need to know that it does matter, and that the repair is the gift, not the guilt. And subscribe if you want to keep understanding your baby the way they actually work, not the way old advice says, because your baby's brain is not a problem to fix. It is a landscape to learn. And you are already walking it with them, step by step, repair by repair, love by love.